Ciao a tutti ragazzi, aspettiamo ancora qualche secondo che sta entrando in tantissimi. Ok, vedo c'è anche 122 persone collegate. Allora, buonasera a tutti, mi presento, io sono Nicola Bardi, uno dei fondatori di Tutored. Con me potete già vedere Giulio e Andrea e Melwin, che saranno gli speaker di oggi. E prima di iniziare, giusto un paio di parole su Tutored, dal momento che molti di voi si sono registrati alla nostra piattaforma proprio per seguire questo webinar. Siamo una piattaforma definita un punto di incontro tra studenti, giovani laureati ed aziende. Abbiamo sviluppato questa piattaforma dove da un lato supportiamo gli studenti e i laureati ad entrare nel mondo del lavoro. Quindi raccontiamo quali sono gli sbocchi lavorativi in base al tipo di facoltà, quali sono le competenze che ricercano le aziende. Tutto questo lo facciamo tramite dei contenuti che scriviamo, tramite webinar che andiamo a organizzare, come in questo caso. Allo stesso modo è possibile candidarsi a numerosi annunci di lavoro che vengono pubblicati da oltre 250 aziende che sono attive sulla nostra piattaforma. E questa era, diciamo, la mia intro che volevo farvi su Tutored. Giusto due parole su questa piattaforma. I pulsanti importanti sono pochi, sono tre. Sulla sinistra trovate una nuvoletta conversation nel quale potete scrivere tutto quello che desiderate. È importante invece che le domande le fate dove c'è question and answer, nel punto interrogativo. È importante in questo modo Giulio poi potrà leggere, potrà organizzare nel miglior modo possibile. Un'ultima informazione, in basso a destra invece trovate un riquadro nero. Quello è importante per decidere un po' come vedere, se vedere solo uno speaker, due speaker, tutti gli speaker, un po' come volete. Io, diciamo, questo è quanto volevo dire. Innanzitutto per me sono davvero contento di questo primo webinar. È la prima volta che facciamo un webinar in partnership con un'associazione dell'Università Cattolica, quindi lascio direttamente la parola a Giulio, grazie e niente, io rimarrò qui ad assistere a questo webinar.
Grazie Nicolò e grazie a Tutor per il supporto e per la piattaforma. Faccio una brevissima introduzione per UCFA, che è un'associazione di cui io ho fatto parte per un po' di tempo, mi sono laureato da poco in Università Cattolica. UCFA, che sta per UniCatt Financial Analysts, è un'associazione di base appunto nell'Università Cattolica e ha lo scopo di cercare di avvicinare gli studenti al mondo al settore finanziario, specificatamente nell'ambito di investment banking, M&A e asset management, di cui l'evento di oggi è principalmente focalizzato. Passo subito all'introduzione del nostro primo ospite che coprirà la prima parte di questo evento. Questa presentazione è in italiano, dopodiché farò una breve introduzione per Melwin Mehta, che è il secondo nostro ospite. La sua presentazione sarà in inglese e la parte anche per il Q&A sarà anch'essa in inglese. Quindi per le domande sul box di Q&A, se potete porle direttamente in inglese ci facilitate un attimo la cosa. Quindi vi ringrazio di nuovo per questo. Passando per Andrea, è un mio caro amico, è una persona che io stimo molto, anche lui ha studiato in Cattolica e dopodiché ha iniziato il suo percorso lavorativo direttamente come portfolio manager. Oltre a ciò è fondatore e presidente dei Punti della Finanza, che è un'associazione che in un modo simile insomma a UCFA cerca di avvicinare gli studenti all'ambito degli investimenti, della gestione degli investimenti principalmente, attraverso eventi come questo in cui è possibile portare l'esperienza di figure esperte appunto nel settore e rendere il tutto il più possibile diretto e concreto per noi studenti, cose che magari da un punto di vista vengono comunque coperti in modo teorico, ma magari meno da un punto di vista pratico. Senza togliere altro tempo, passo la parola ad Andrea. Grazie. Sì, si vede. Sì.
Giulio, mi senti?
Sì, Andrea,
Giulio, scusami.
sì,
Ciao Andrea. Allora, i ragazzi dicono che non ti
sì, stavo
sentono.
leggendo.
Stavo...
Io, Andrea, ti sento, leggevo sulla chat, esatto, che alcuni avevano difficoltà a sentire, però non so,
Esatto,
Nicola,
guarda,
magari dimmi tu.
purtroppo... Esatto, la cosa migliore, se può, guarda, che funziona sempre,
Sì,
visto che noi ti sentiamo, si vede che c'è stato qualche problema. Se tu provi a uscire, rientrare sul link che Giulio ti ha inviato. Ehm,
Andrea dici se può uscire,
Andrea,
ok.
esatto.
Mhm.
Esattamente.
Ok, però alcuni dicono che adesso si sente, quindi non
No,
so...
solo Andrea non si sente, dicono.
Ah,
Non
ok,
so, si vede che forse c'è... Non so, adesso ogni tanto capita. Esatto, esatto. Quindi se
ok.
tu puoi uscire, Andrea, e rientrare col link che ti ha inviato Giulio.
Noi ti sentiamo, sì. Vedo che, esatto, è sull'audience che non sente. Sentono me, sentono Nicolò, esatto, ma non sentono te. Prova a uscire e rientrare, esatto, esatto, esatto. Grazie. Ok.
Ok, ragazzi, ogni tanto questi sono problemi tecnici, questo è un po' il problema dei webinar, tanto comodi perché uno può stare tranquillo, però adesso scusate, ma può capitare, magari la connessione, magari non so adesso, sai, possono essere tante cose,
E,
comunque adesso aspettiamo che rientra e così
mhm.
stiamo tutti, si sente.
Ti sto
Mi
informando Melvin
sentite?
della problematica intanto.
Ok. Andrea, se puoi parlare così vediamo se i ragazzi ti
Mi
sentono.
sentite? Sì, io
Ok,
ditemi voi se riuscite a
Io
sentire.
ti sento,
ti
ok, ti
sentono,
sentono
pure i
anche gli
ragazzi ti
altri.
sentono, quindi puoi, guarda, da quello che ho capito, ti hanno perso da quando hai iniziato a fare screen share, quindi magari se puoi iniziare velocemente con la presentazione.
Ok.
In che senso posso iniziare velocemente con la presentazione?
No,
Da quando hai cominciato a fare screen sharing e da quando hanno avuto problemi a sentire, quindi per riparti più o meno, insomma, dalla parte direttamente delle slide, la parte prima comunque c'era.
Ah, ok, va
Sì,
bene.
sì, esatto.
Allora, vado a condivido lo schermo.
Sì, sì.
Ok, allora, parlando di sistema finanziario e appunto del fatto che esistano soggetti in surplus e soggetti in deficit. I soggetti in deficit andranno ad emettere strumenti che rappresentano capitale proprio o capitali di debito sul mercato e quindi costituiranno le nostre azioni e obbligazioni. Questo diciamo per voler semplificare il panorama di strumenti finanziari presenti sul mercato. I soggetti in surplus, quindi i risparmiatori e gli investitori, si rivolgeranno ad intermediari finanziari nelle figure del private banker, family banker, consulente finanziario, eccetera, eccetera, per andare a investire i loro soldi. Quindi ci potranno essere investimenti diretti e quindi investimenti direttamente in azioni, obbligazioni, commodities, valute, eccetera, eccetera, oppure investimenti indiretti e quindi investimenti in prodotti finanziari quali fondi comuni di investimento, ETF, quarti di SICAV, piuttosto che accensioni di servizi finanziari come gestioni patrimoniali, financial advisory, eccetera, eccetera, che rappresentano invece un investimento indiretto, in quanto noi andiamo a comprare o ad accendere, comprare un prodotto finanziario, accendere un servizio finanziario e dopodiché i gestori del prodotto finanziario o del servizio finanziario andranno a investire su strumenti finanziari, quindi questo invece è considerato un investimento indiretto. Detto ciò, è chiaro che ci stiamo avventurando in un mondo in cui l'intermediazione finanziaria a volte viene sostituita da un investimento di tipo diretto, no? Il soggetto in surplus, attraverso non l'intermediario finanziario ma attraverso una piattaforma di investimento, va direttamente a investire sui mercati finanziari. È chiaro che però il ruolo del consulente finanziario e del private banker sia fondamentale per andare a fare sicuramente educazione finanziaria con il risparmiatore, ma anche per andare a capire quelle che sono le esigenze dell'investitore e coniugarle in un portafoglio che sia adeguato alle sue necessità. Proprio per questo motivo è necessario fare una profilatura del cliente, una profilatura che viene richiesta dalla direttiva MiFID, aggiornata MiFID 2 nel 2016, e in particolare la profilatura richiede che si tengano in considerazione l'età del risparmiatore, la situazione reddituale, l'orizzonte temporale di investimento, le competenze di natura finanziaria, il grado di avversione al rischio, fabbisogno di liquidità e le necessità che possiamo definire uniche dei risparmiatori. Insomma, che si tenga in considerazione tutto questo e si vada a coniugare in un profilo di rischio-rendimento, quindi un obiettivo di rendimento con determinati limiti di rischio, dove possono anche esserci altri limiti contrattuali, che possono essere, per esempio, sta emergendo la necessità di non avere in portafoglio determinati strumenti finanziari emessi da compagnie che per esempio producono armi oppure sono presenti in mercati diciamo che non rispecchiano una visione particolarmente etica, quindi mi riferisco a tutto il mondo ESG e SRI. Per capire tutto questo discorso, per capire appunto come un risparmiatore può investire i suoi soldi, come può impostare il suo portafoglio, secondo me è molto importante avere presente il concetto di indice di mercato, il concetto di benchmark. Allora, io so che molti di voi sapranno che un indice di mercato è uno strumento assolutamente teorico in cui non si può investire, che svolge varie funzioni: il monitoraggio di mercato, serve per fare analisi finanziaria macroeconomica, serve per fare asset risk allocation, security selection o performance attribution, ma in primo luogo serve al risparmiatore per orientarsi. Io dico sempre che il benchmark funge da bussola per il risparmiatore. Ed in particolare quindi possiamo distinguere due grandi categorie di investimenti: gli investimenti benchmark e gli investimenti absolute return. In particolare nell'investimento absolute return il risparmiatore cerca il rendimento in termini assoluti e quindi cerca di ottenere rendimento indipendentemente da quali siano le condizioni finanziarie sui vari mercati. Invece nella gestione a benchmark si tiene proprio in considerazione il fatto che, per esempio, a questo momento sul mercato dei bond ci sono diversi emittenti, riferisco agli stati, no? Emettono titoli di Stato a rendimento negativo, quindi si tiene in considerazione che un benchmark, per esempio il governo europeo, sulla duration corta, quindi sulle scadenze più brevi, presenterà uno yield negativo, mentre se ci andiamo a spostare su tratti della curva più lunga, magari troviamo uno yield positivo ma comunque risicato. Quindi una gestione a benchmark tiene presente in che mercato stiamo andando a investire, e chiaramente i risultati che noi otterremo da una gestione a benchmark dovranno essere parametrati con quell'indice di mercato. Proprio per questo motivo secondo me è importante andare a confrontarci con due siti, con in particolare due siti, io li ho presi come esempio, però sono sicuramente rappresentano un po' il complesso delle scelte che abbiamo a disposizione per poter studiare gli indici, mci.com e l'altro iShares. Uno è un sito di provider di indici di mercato che ci dà la possibilità di reperire le schede PDF dove vengono spiegati gli indici di mercato. Il secondo invece è un sito che è un provider di ETF, come ce ne sono tanti, però che dà molte informazioni circa i suoi ETF. Come ben sapete, gli ETF sono degli strumenti indicizzati, quindi sono degli strumenti a gestione passiva, cercano di replicare il benchmark. Quindi le informazioni che troviamo sugli ETF sono indirettamente delle informazioni sugli indici sottostanti. Vi do soltanto un consiglio adesso, andando sul sito appunto sul sito di iShares, perché immagino che molti di voi stiano diciamo in fase di preparazione di dataset per le lauree e così via. Allora, per poter studiare bene un indice, i suoi constituents e le sue esposizioni anche, no? Rispetto al mercato, possiamo andare a prendere un indice. Io adesso vado a prendere lo Stocks Europe 50 dal sito di iShares, e andando in partecipazioni, informazioni dettagliate sulle partecipazioni, data analitici, possiamo reperire tutte le informazioni che ci servono. Chiaramente i dati all'inizio sono un po' grezzi, però immagino che voi sappiate fare il testo in colonne e quindi poi andare a spacchettare i dati. Vedete che abbiamo tutti i constituents dell'indice con le varie ponderazioni, e poi abbiamo tutte le informazioni che ci sono, quindi il settore dove viene scambiato la valuta di mercato. In questo modo noi possiamo analizzare tutte le esposizioni in termini settoriali, in termini geografici, in termini valutari di un indice qualsiasi, senza avere accesso a Bloomberg necessariamente. Switchando di nuovo sulla nostra presentazione, comunque abbiamo capito che cos'è un indice di investimento, un benchmark, e quindi possiamo dire che da un punto di vista diciamo dell'educazione finanziaria dei risparmiatori, io credo che l'investimento a benchmark sia la soluzione più corretta, nel senso che educa il risparmiatore all'idea che un determinato gestore può fare una buona performance anche senza ottenere rendimenti positivi in termini assoluti. Mi spiego meglio. Se quest'anno l'indice FTSE MIB, l'indice italiano, dovesse chiudere almeno 20% rispetto all'inizio dell'anno, quindi year to date, un gestore che fa meno 5% e quindi non ottiene un rendimento assoluto positivo, ma comunque batte di 15 punti percentuali il benchmark, investitore che assume una visione di rendimento absolute return chiaramente non è un buon gestore, ma per un investitore che sa che il mercato italiano ha fatto il meno 20, chiaramente quel gestore assume tutta un'altra, chiaramente ha fatto una performance, no? Quindi questo è un primo concetto da tenere a mente. Gli altri concetti credo che siano abbastanza chiari. Quello di gestione attiva e gestione passiva dovrebbe essere molto evidente, no? La gestione passiva si limita a replicare un benchmark, invece la gestione attiva, oltre a cercare il beta, cerca anche l'alfa, quindi l'extra rendimento rispetto al benchmark. E poi possiamo avere portafogli di titoli e portafogli di fondi. I portafogli di titoli sono portafogli in cui noi inseriamo azioni e obbligazioni. I portafogli sono portafogli in cui noi inseriamo ETF piuttosto che fondi comuni di investimento e comparti di SICAV. La differenza tra i due è che, prendendo per esempio due portafogli composti da 10 strumenti, se noi andiamo a prendere 10 strumenti tra azioni e obbligazioni abbiamo una certa differenziazione. Se andiamo a prendere invece 10 strumenti tra ETF e fondi, avremo una più ampia diversificazione, in quanto gli ETF e i fondi andranno a investire in azioni e obbligazioni. Quindi è chiaro che avere un portafoglio di fondi ci espone ad una maggiore diversificazione di portafoglio rispetto al portafoglio di titoli. C'è una differenza tra gestioni collettive e gestioni individuali che è molto ben spiegato dalla differenza tra gestioni patrimoniali e fondi comuni di investimento. Le gestioni patrimoniali sono un servizio di investimento e quindi noi andiamo ad accendere il servizio di gestione patrimoniali presso un istituto finanziario, per esempio una banca, e rappresentano un investimento indiretto, in quanto i gestori delle gestioni patrimoniali, sono per esempio io, possono poi andare sul mercato, sono delegati dal risparmiatore e vanno veramente hanno la logica delle gestioni individuazione patrimoniale tra le gestioni di un cliente, tra la gestione di un cliente e la gestione di un altro. Nei fondi comuni di investimento noi abbiamo un prodotto, quindi questo ci deve rimandare a un'idea di qualcosa di disponibile anche su piattaforme. Quindi noi possiamo acquistare il nostro fondo su piattaforma o in banca tramite il nostro consulente finanziario. Rappresentano un investimento indiretto anche questo, perché a loro volta diciamo noi stiamo dando delega ad un gestore di fondi, in questo caso, a investire i nostri soldi. Seguono la logica delle gestioni collettive, quindi noi andiamo a comprare una quota di fondi comuni o una quota di comparti di SICAV, diciamo, i nostri soldi andranno a finire insieme a quelli di tutti gli altri clienti e verranno investiti in pool, si dice così, e quindi chiaramente questa è la logica delle gestioni collettive. Questo non significa che i nostri soldi, insomma, che non ci sia confusione patrimoniale tra i nostri soldi e quelli degli altri clienti, significa semplicemente che i soldi vengono gestiti dal gestore del fondo in pool. Possono essere sia orientati alla gestione attiva che alla gestione dei fondi indice, che appunto servono a replicare unicamente l'indice sottostante, mentre le gestioni patrimoniali si limitano alla gestione attiva. Ad oggi io non ho notizie di gestioni patrimoniali che fanno gestione passiva. E quindi, diciamo, questo modo, sulle modalità che abbiamo di impostare il nostro investimento, il nostro portfolio. Dopodiché vi volevo far vedere due file di gestione, uno relativo alle gestioni patrimoniali obbligazionali, le gestioni azionarie e patrimoniali azionarie. Una cosa importante, io ve l'ho già detto, ritengo che l'investimento a benchmark sia quello che dovrebbe diffondersi di più tra i risparmiatori. Vi farò vedere come si gestisce una gestione a benchmark. È chiaro che molto di quello che dirò per la gestione absolute return, però bisogna anche tenere in considerazione che ci possono essere delle differenze. Excel. E il file Excel non so quanto bene si veda, magari chiedo una mano a Giulio per sapere come si vede sugli altri schermi. Giulio?
Andrea, mi senti?
Giulio, mi senti?
Mi senti tu? Mi senti? Andrea, mi senti?
Sì, Giulio, adesso ti sento.
Ok, sì.
Volevo sapere se riesci a dirmi come
Sì,
si vede il
esatto.
file Excel, perché
Sì, no, si
spesso
vedeva,
può
se
vedere...
riuscivi a zoomare poco più andava bene, però poi non so se si tagliava i bordi, comunque si vedeva. È che hai tolto la condivisione dello schermo adesso.
Ok. Così? Vabbè.
Perfetto, così va bene, a posto.
Allora, in particolare poi ognuno va a impostare il file di gestione, ogni gestore ha il suo modo, no, di impostare i suoi file. In questo caso io vado a mettere sulla sinistra tutti compongono il portafoglio e sulla destra vado a vedere quali sono le esposizioni che io riesco ad ottenere attraverso l'investimento in questi titoli. Allora, per gestire un portafoglio obbligazionario è fondamentale andare innanzitutto a studiare il benchmark. In questo caso abbiamo questo è il ticker del nostro benchmark, che è un JP Morgan Global Bond, quindi è un benchmark che identifica dei bond a livello globale, quindi un indice globale mondiale, investment grade, quindi con un certo rating elevato, e in particolare governativo. Va a studiare la sua esposizione geografica. Potete vedere qui ci sono 3 righe. Rossa rappresenta le esposizioni del benchmark. Per esempio, l'esposizione americana del benchmark è pari al 42,5%. Infine quella italiana è pari al 7%, 6,9%. Questo vi ho fatto vedere 3 regioni, però è chiaro che l'indice è esposto anche su Giappone, eccetera. La linea azzurra rappresenta invece l'esposizione che noi andiamo a ottenere attraverso i titoli che stanno a sinistra. E noi chiaramente su ogni area geografica possiamo andare a sovrapesare il benchmark, quindi per esempio nel caso dell'America noi abbiamo investito di più in titoli americani rispetto a quanto fa il benchmark. Nel caso invece del UK abbiamo investito di meno di quanto fa il benchmark. Quest'altra linea smeraldo che vedete è semplicemente il rapporto tra l'esposizione del portafoglio e l'esposizione del benchmark. Quindi potremmo dire che siamo sovrappesati al 100 siamo sottopesati al 90% di UK. Questo chiaramente significa che dobbiamo andare a studiare paese per paese situazione in termini di bond, quindi di obbligazioni, dobbiamo movimenti della curva che ci attendiamo. Un'altra esposizione che possiamo andare a vedere è quella relativa ai tratti di curva. In particolare vediamo qui che la nostra riga rossa rappresenta sempre il benchmark. Abbiamo il benchmark investe il 25% in obbligazioni a 1-3 anni, il 20% in obbligazioni a 3-5 anni, l'11% a 5-7 anni e così via. Allora noi, ancora una volta, possiamo, rispetto a ogni bucket di curva, andare a decidere se o sottopesare il nostro benchmark, e quindi dovremo farci vedete che già diventa un sistema matriciale. Dobbiamo andare a decidere per ogni area geografica, dobbiamo andare a prendere la curva, per esempio, americana, curva europea, la curva, scusate, per esempio tedesca, la curva UK, e decidere quali bucket di queste curve andare a sovrappesare e sottopesare. Aggiungiamo complessità a questo sistema matriciale andando a fare delle valutazioni anche in merito ai rating, cioè noi sappiamo che il benchmark investe il 25% in AAA, 10% in AA, 50% in singola A. Noi possiamo andare a sovrappesare e sottopesare ogni classe di rating, chiaramente andando per esempio a ottenere un maggior rendimento man mano che ci spostiamo verso destra, e quindi andiamo a prendere delle classi di rating più basse perché aggiungiamo il rischio di credito, oppure possiamo avere un portafoglio un po' più sicuro con meno rischio di credito ma anche meno yield, e quindi anche in questo caso andare a sovrappesare e sottopesare le nostre classi di rating. Vedete che tutto parte dallo studio del benchmark per poi andare a definire se vogliamo sovrappesare o sottopesare una determinata esposizione attraverso che cosa? Attraverso i nostri titoli che vedete qui sulla sinistra. Li vedete come sigle, però ognuno di queste sigle rappresenta un titolo. Per esempio la CGB, che cos'è? Un bond australiano, cedola 4,5%, che scade il 15 aprile 2020, che quindi in realtà è già scaduto. Questi sono portaferiti al passato, però abbiamo anche le FRTR, per esempio, sono le Francia, 0,25 significa 0,25%, con scadenza 25 novembre 2026. E così via. Questi sono i titoli che appunto abbiamo in portafoglio. Vi volevo far vedere come funziona, come possiamo orientarci sulla curva. Cioè, questi sono i movimenti di curva che noi possiamo avere, no? Sulla base di ogni movimento noi possiamo andare a scegliere titoli che sono che hanno scadenze più elevate oppure scadenze più ridotte, e possiamo andare a fare questo discorso per ogni area geografica e per ogni anche classe di rating. Quindi questo è il movimento di bull steepening, in cui la curva da una situazione di partenza che vedete colorata in azzurro si muove verso una situazione a T+1 che è colorata in rosso. Quindi il bull steepening in realtà è un movimento bullish, quindi una riduzione dei tassi di interesse, che è più forte sulle scadenze a breve termine di quanto non lo sia sulle scadenze a lungo termine. Il bull flattening è un po' l'opposto invece, cioè sostanzialmente abbiamo un movimento bullish, scadenza a lungo termine di quanto non lo sia su quella a breve termine. Il bear steepening invece è un movimento bearish, quindi abbiamo un incremento del tasso di interesse che è più forte sulla scadenza a lungo termine di quanto non lo sia su quella a breve termine. E il bear flattening invece è l'opposto, un movimento bearish più forte sulle scadenze a breve termine di quanto su quelle a lungo. E poi ci sono quei due movimenti che secondo me sono del tutto teorici, che sono il parallel shift verso l'alto e il parallel shift verso il basso. Dico teorici perché è abbastanza improbabile andare ad osservare sul mercato un movimento parallelo delle curve perfetto. È chiaro che ci sarà sempre una scadenza che magari si muove un po' più di un'altra. Quindi a seconda che ci troviamo in uno di questi 6 scenari, che poi rappresentano la totalità degli scenari, noi possiamo andare a dire, per steepening, vediamo questo movimento della curva che è bullish innanzitutto ed è positivo sulle scadenze a brevi. Io andrò a ridurre la mia duration per poter cogliere al meglio questo movimento. E questi sono i ragionamenti che si fanno quando andiamo ad analizzare un portafoglio obbligazionario. Allo stesso modo, io purtroppo devo sbrigarmi con i tempi, però è chiaro che ci sarebbe moltissimo da dire. Possiamo andare una gestione azionaria, in cui non cambia assolutamente niente, sicuramente dal punto di vista di impostazione. Abbiamo sempre i nostri titoli sulla sinistra e poi le nostre esposizioni sulla destra. Quello che cambia sicuramente sono le esposizioni che bisogna andare a guardare. Sicuramente l'esposizione geografica rimane, è comune tra bond ed in particolare possiamo vedere che in questo benchmark azionario, che è l'MSCI World, per esempio l'America pesa il 63%, UK pesa il 5% e l'Italia pesa il 0,70%, quindi dobbiamo anche capire che peso ha l'Italia nell'indice azionario globale. Si può sempre andare, come abbiamo detto prima, a sovrapesare e sottopesare le esposizioni azionarie geografiche del benchmark. Quindi in questo caso gli USA sono sottopesati, siamo al 97,5% di esposizione nel nostro portafoglio. Un'altra esposizione che è fondamentale nel settore equity più che nel settore bond è l'esposizione settoriale. Dico più nel settore bond perché i bond possono essere titoli di Stato oppure obbligazioni corporate. Ecco, se sono obbligazioni corporate e quindi emesse da società, ha una certa rilevanza anche l'esposizione settoriale. Se sono obbligazioni, titoli di Stato, è ovvio che non facciamo riferimento ad alcun settore. Ad ogni modo, nelle gestioni azionarie l'esposizione settoriale ha molta importanza, molta rilevanza e quindi appunto dobbiamo andare a vedere quella che è l'esposizione del benchmark. Quelli che vedete qui sopra sono i vari settori, li cito brevemente: communication services, consumer discretionary, quindi consumi discrezionali, consumer staples, consumi di base, energy, quindi petrolio e gas, financial, quindi salute, industrials, IT, information technology, materials, real estate, utilities. E possiamo vedere per esempio che il nostro benchmark pesa il 15,5% sui finanziari, e anche in questo caso noi ogni settore possiamo sovrapesarlo, sottopesarlo e quindi avere, in questo caso noi abbiamo il 16,5% sui financials, siamo sovrapesati al 105%. Anche qui bisogna andare a fare chiaramente degli studi come quelli che facciamo per il mondo obbligazionario, e in particolare lo studio che faccio io consta di una parte sia di analisi tecnica e di una parte di analisi fondamentale. Attraverso l'analisi tecnica vado a vedere qual è il posizionamento del titolo rispetto al suo grafico passato, e quindi come è inclinata la media mobile a 200 periodi in particolare, e come si intersecano le medie mobili breve, medio e lungo termine. E invece come analisi fondamentale si va a studiare quello che è, io mi metto degli alert andando a prendere quelle che sono le stime degli analisti presenti sul portale di Bloomberg, e vedendo qual è la differenza con il prezzo attuale. Attraverso questi due indicatori di analisi tecnica e fondamentale ottengo degli alert sul mare magnum di strumenti azionari presenti nel mercato, e poi dopo vado a fare un'analisi di tipo più qualitativo, prendendo il bilancio, studiando la storia della società e le sue prospettive, insomma, le sue prospettive di crescita. Ci sono altre variabili sicuramente da tenere in considerazione quando si parla di mercato azionario. Credo di averle illustrate a dovere in 2 articoli che sono riportati qui nei post Edufin del nostro sito Pontificazione Azioni. In particolare questi due articoli: il cambio di stagione, in cui vado a vedere quali sono i migliori settori da poter abbinare ad ogni fase del ciclo economico. Finanziari sono un settore da premiare quando c'è una fase del ciclo espansiva, e invece quest'altro articolo, quello il fattore X, è un articolo che prende in considerazione i fattori di investimento, i fattori, come sapete, sono il fattore dividendo, il fattore value, il fattore growth, momentum, eccetera, eccetera, minimum volatility. Qual è il fattore migliore da utilizzare in una determinata fase di mercato? E quindi io vi consiglio caldamente di poi andare a vedere questi articoli e farvi un'idea su questi argomenti. Allora, Giulio, io come promesso rispetto alle scadenze, rimango nei 40 minuti, sono sempre a disposizione per eventuali domande. E chiaramente sono argomenti molto tecnici, e qui poi, qualora UCFA volesse fare, diciamo, degli incontri più mirata a set class, io sono a disposizione.
Perfetto, guarda, grazie mille per l'intervento. Sono sicuro che sia stato interessante per tutti quanto lo sia stato per me sicuramente. E ci dispiace purtroppo per le tempistiche, abbiamo avuto poi quella problematica con il microfono, quindi ecco, magari ci ha tolto un po' di tempo, però comunque, come dicevo prima, ricordo che per qualsiasi domanda c'è comunque spazio nella parte finale di Q&A, quindi già alcune domande sono arrivate, se ne avete altre ben venga. I will now switch in English. I don't know if Melvin, you can hear me. If you're able to turn on your camera and microphone. In the meantime, I'll give a little bit of an introduction to Melvin. I was fortunate enough to collaborate with him for a little bit. He has a very long experience and tenure in a variety of roles in the financial sector. At the moment, he is the founder and portfolio manager at Sterling Investments, which is a boutique investment manager based in London, focused mostly on small and medium enterprises companies which are listed on the UK market. And without taking out any other time for you, I'll be happy to give you the spot. Okay. Okay, I think we cannot hear you. At least I cannot hear you. I don't know if you can maybe turn on the mic.
Yes, my mic is on.
Okay,
is it okay now?
Yeah, no. Now, at least I can hear you. I don't know in the chat if people are able to hear you. Yeah, okay, perfect. Everything's fine.
Okay, cool. So I'll. Good evening, everybody in Italy. Everybody, buonasera.
Good job.
Thank you for the host. Thank you, Giulio, for putting this together, giving me a chance to speak. I'm not here to teach anybody here to say that I'm right and you're wrong. I'm just here to share with you my journey, and hopefully you make there's something for you to make sure that you don't repeat the many mistakes that I have made. I'm going to be sharing my screen.
Yep.
Is this? Can you see my screen now?
Not now. I cannot see it.
Okay, just a second.
Yep.
Can you see it now?
No.
Oh, that's not good.
I don't know if maybe there's some authorization that you need to give to your computer to allow the platform to share the screen.
Not really. We tried it earlier. It was working.
Yeah, exactly. Before was working fine. I don't know if maybe Nicolò, if you are on the call, Melvin is having some problem in sharing the screen.
Here I am. So, did you press on the small arrow, or you should have 3 points and then you?
Yes, 3 points and then one screen comes.
Yeah, exactly. For the screen share.
So that is exactly what I'm doing.
And doesn't work.
But when I'm going to my screen, I can view your entire screen, and I can see that same screen, but I can't see the. Very annoyingly, I can't see. I think it's come now. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
It works. Perfect.
Yep.
See you later.
But can you see the screen? I can't.
Yeah. Now we can see the
oh, you can see the screen. Okay, lovely. Now the
exactly.
problem is I can't. So how do I know which screen I am or which page I am on then, Giulio?
We can tell you. You now you are on the webinar page.
Right. Okay, Giulio, can you control the screen?
I cannot control your screen.
Okay.
If you're
fun.
not able to, okay, now
okay.
Okay, perfect.
Now is it going up and down?
Yeah, exactly. Now it's fine.
Okay, fine. So I'll use this then.
Perfect.
So yes, so this is just a quick overview about my journey. As I said to you a few minutes back, I'm not here to teach anybody, but basically to share my journey, and hopefully it's useful to you. I think we broadly know this. Banking, obviously, retail, commercial, investment banking. Investment consists of equity, fixed income, and commodity, and equity. So, but my main limitation, I must say, is all I've done is listed equities, and that is the only specialty I have. So bear in mind that I don't know everything, and it is whatever I say is going to be restricted to listed equities mainly. I've done a little bit of private equity, but mainly listed equity. Giulio, can you hear me properly?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Okay, you can see the screen changing, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, so again, this is a slide of my investment career, as Giulio wanted me to share with you my journey. I am an electrical engineer. I'm from India, and if you're a good student, you did engineering. So like a good student, I did engineering. Obviously, as you will see, I'm trying to highlight it. Giulio, can you see when I highlight it?
Yeah, we can see that.
I'm sure everybody can see there. Completely a wrong choice. But anyway, I went on I got a good job because I did it from a good university. Frustrated, of course, frustrated. And that's what happens when you don't enjoy what you do. Applied for, probably more than 30 jobs, really. And then very fortunately, got a chance, got a break in a magazine where I worked. And I'll come to you about, there are these arrows here, and I'll talk to them about later on. But this is where my real entry into the world of investment started, as I've mentioned here. That it really gave me a break. I joined a broking firm. Fortunately, the broking firm had a sell-side broking department. And within 6, 7, 8 months, I moved within the department, within the company, and moved on to portfolio management, basically also involving client relationships. Worked there for a little more than 2 years. Then I got a nice, lovely break in a treasury role where we were managing a portfolio of $1 billion, of which I was of a smaller team, equity team of $140 million US dollars. 860 was fixed income, and that was a bigger team. I was not doing fixed income, I was doing only equities. And then, of course, then I went on to do 3 years in private equity. And in February 2007, I came to London. I worked for a long-only onshore fund. There's a problem with the onshore fund because if you're in the UK, you can't market an offshore fund. So it had its natural problems with it, of growing it. And of course, it was a dual role. So I was doing a lot of traveling, India, UK. And after a particular point in time, you don't like taking airplanes. So I wanted to be in London more. Then I joined a family office. I was the first person who was involved in the world of investing within the family office. Otherwise, historically, it's always been the family members who are involved. And there I again picked up new sectors like mining, gold, the other sectors, and really gave me an opportunity to do every sector you can imagine. Then I joined a hedge fund where the portfolio manager was based in Monaco, but I was his London support. And in 2017, I founded Sterling Investments. And after that, I basically bought and took over an existing fund, renamed it Prospect, gave it a full change, and which I'm doing currently. Giulio, everything fine?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Am I speaking fast?
No, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Okay, excellent. Keep giving me feedback, yeah?
No problem.
So, and this happens because we will cover about irony of money. But I think one slide I want to do is I want you to really think after this evening is over to pursue what you love and you really are good at, and look into your mirror, a bedroom mirror, a bathroom mirror, I don't care. But you got to really ask this fundamental question to you for yourself, what would you do so much that you would work for free? And that is the answer to your passion. And we'll come back to that in a second. Please don't copy the masses. This is a statistics not for 2019. This is a statistics for 2018. Goldman Sachs, 270,000 people applied. These many people got in. The success rate is 1%. This is simply ridiculous. Don't be one of those people who are applying here, and just be a normal person. Again, if you have a camera with you right now, if you have a phone with you right now, I would like you to click this photograph, please, and really understand, the people are wondering what the boss is doing, and the boss is wondering what the people are doing. And this is the situation in most large companies, Again, this is a concept I would like you to research more, read more on the internet, called Ikigai. We obviously don't have time much to go through it now, but basically it's about loving what you do are you really good at? It's no use loving to paint if you're good at painting, but the world is not going to pay for it, or the world does not need it. So the question is, you got to love what you do, you got to be good at it, people need to pay for it, and the world should need it. Because if they don't need it, they're not going to pay for it. And this is a lovely Venn diagram. Again, if you could take a photograph to reflect on it later, or you could just copy this word ikigai and note it down and later read more on the internet. And again, this is especially relevant because most of us are now at home. We've got limited interaction with our friends, families, relatives. And it's very easy to have the whole day go by without doing anything. So make sure you give yourself an hour or two where every day you're doing something to self-improve yourself, self-improvement. And that is your responsibility. That is not the responsibility of your professor, your college, your university, your boss. It's your responsibility. All of you, I'm told, are adults on this evening event. So please, reading, again, I find very few people read. Try to read at least for 4 or 5 hours a day on a variety of topics. Again, something very stupid, exercise that keeps you mentally fit, physically fit. I don't need to say spend less, which you already are doing, staying at home. But really, I don't want to say what are bad habits. There are clever people on this webinar. They know what the bad habits are. Obviously, avoid them. Wasting time and odd hours. I also find odd hours. I know a lot of people on this call, I suspect, who sleep at 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and they get up at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Please try to form the natural body clock. When it's dark, you're supposed to sleep. When the sun is there, or when it's bright, you're supposed to be working. And that really affects your long term. And again, I think the summary of this goes back to here. The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. So please form good habits, because that's the best way to improve yourself slowly on a daily basis. And picking up really, again, which field do we want to go? It really comes down to, what is your genuine interest? And in everything you do, please be willing to do more than the minimum required. Because if you do the minimum required, it's not going to help you, and it just won't help. Again, if you're an analyst, for example, if you're an introvert or you're an extrovert, there's a role for both of them. If you're an introvert, you can still be an analyst. If you're an extrovert, you can be an analyst as well. And I'll give you an example. If you're an introvert, for example, you could do a lot of Excel and valuation. If you're an extrovert, you could get into management interviews because you are a people person. So the whole point is, for every role, there is a strength. And I'll give you an example of accountants, for example. Now, if there is 2 accountants, and one accountant is very thorough, he's very good at counting 1 + 1 is equal to 2, but he can't think creatively. You know that he's a good bookkeeper, and you use him to finalize your accounts. But there could be another accountant who's really bad at accounting, just like I was bad at engineering, but is very creative and will help you plan your taxes, for example. So you can see how 2 types in the same profession of accounting, there are 2 types. And similarly, in the form of an analyst, you can be an introvert or an extrovert. It really doesn't matter, because you can be, it can work out for you. This is, of course, people who wanting to get into the world of investment management. Well, as I said, the first question is, do you want to get in? That's the first question, really. Skills, do you have it? And the last point is, do you love it? And if the answer is yes, 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 then obviously the best thing to do is to really do real projects. Start, as I've said, I'm giving you one example here, start with a research project, attend AGMs, annual general meetings. Of course, you can't attend them now due to COVID, but hopefully soon. Capital market days, analyst meetings, a lot of the material is on the website. You can do some kind of shadow experience, but reach out, ask for experience. Very often you should be able to get it, really. And the whole idea is to every day do a little bit, share with colleagues and seniors and take feedback, really. And I think I'm going to stop there, because I really want to I don't want to keep talking, because I want to really address questions that you have, because the whole idea is to be useful to you. So that's my email. In case any of you want to establish contact and have asked questions, but it'd be great to take questions here. Is that okay, Gela?
Okay. One thing that maybe you can start talking just a very brief introduction, and then maybe we can cover more on the Q&A part on what you are currently doing with the fund at Sterling. Maybe a little bit about how is your process, how do you differentiate, maybe how do you invest when compared to other people investing still in equity, still in the UK and so on. What is something that is specific for you and for your investment process?
Sure. So the investment process is really very simple. And what do I mean by that? We are really looking at investing in first class, top, good businesses. I mean, that's the real fundamental. It starts from there, because if the business is not good, it doesn't matter how good the management is. We want to understand, we want to invest in a good business. So what is a good business? A good business is one which is special, which is different, where you and I cannot start the business on a Monday morning, and I cannot copy competition. So what they call is as a moat, a protection moat. And just to give a very very basic example, let's talk Microsoft, right? I cannot go and create another Microsoft because Microsoft is on everybody's computers, millions and billions of computers. So it's a business with a big moat, M-O-A-T. Mm-hmm. Whereas let's say a local coffee shop or a restaurant business, anybody in 1 week can open a restaurant or a coffee shop. So it does not have any special characteristics that are really required. And the whole point here is to invest in those special businesses so that when the company's competition tries to come, first of all, they don't want to come. And if they even want to come, they say, forget it. It's too difficult for us to invest in. Mm-hmm. The second thing, which is an equally important thing, is invest in good management teams. There are a lot of people, a lot of management teams who are very good at giving presentations. They're very good at talking. When it comes to running a business, their competition will beat them. Mm-hmm. So we really want to invest in first-class managements who are experienced, who have lost hair and kind of benefited and made the mistakes and learned it. Because at the end of the day, we want them to have learned the game on somebody else's money so that they don't end up losing our money. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the third point, obviously, is it doesn't make sense, however good a currency note is. So let's say it's a 50 euro note. It doesn't matter if it's new, doesn't matter it's unused, it's shiny. it's not clever paying 60 euros for it. The whole idea is to pay 40 euros, 30 euros, 20 euros for it, because you really want to be careful about valuation.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 things in summary: good business, first-class management, and third is valuation.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I don't know if Andrea can maybe join us back so that we can start on the Q&A section. I've already received some questions. Maybe we'll try and give a little bit more time for everybody who maybe he's still thinking about okay, Andrea, I can see you. Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay, so maybe a first question, which is probably to both speakers here, and it's a little bit of something that you Melvin, have already slightly covered, but maybe it would be interesting to get some ideas also from Andrea. The question I have here is it possible to become a junior investment manager or intern with just a master's degree, for example, in finance? Or, for example, can you list some of the skills or the attitudes in a certain sense that may be more valuable for an investment manager position? So a couple of questions based on a little bit on the studies and the education that one does, and it's something that you maybe have already answered. And then which kind of skills do you consider are valuable for an investment manager, both for Melvin and Andrea? I don't know if maybe you, Melvin, can start, and then we switch to Andrea.
So it's
Melvin, sorry, one last thing. You are still sharing the screen, so I don't know if you maybe if there's something you want to share, fine.
No, there's nothing in the screen at all.
Okay.
Is it gone?
Yeah, no, it's gone. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So, well, it's a perfect, dirty, vicious circle of no work, no experience, no work, right?
Yeah.
And people who are today 30, 40, 50 in working in big companies, they forget that once upon a time they did not have experience.
Yeah.
So everybody starts somewhere. Everybody's 21, 22, 23, 24 sometime in their life. Okay, right now they may be 50, but they were 21 and 22 and 23 once upon a time. So the point is absolutely the most important point here is when you're going for an interview, it may be corporate finance, it may be investment management, it doesn't matter which one. As a candidate, it is your responsibility to demonstrate that you know the stuff. And what do I mean when I say that? See, today, earlier when corporates recruited either fresh 5 years experience or 10 years experience, they allowed you to come in, understand the culture, learn, relax for a few months, and life was nice. Today, companies, whether you're a junior or a 10 years experience, today companies want you to hit the ground running. They want you to join the company and start contributing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to make to you is simple. When you're in the interview, you got to demonstrate to them that you can't say, I'm interested. Sorry, very weak answer. Forget it. Don't even bother to turn up at the interview. You're wasting your time. You got to demonstrate that not only are you interested, but you are doing something to demonstrate your interest. So you cannot say that I love painting, and when the opposite person asks you okay, show me your painting, and you say, well, actually, I can't show you because I've not done any painting. I mean, it really loses the legitimacy. You don't have the right to say that you love painting because you haven't done painting.
Yeah.
But imagine if you say painting, oh yes, here's my painting number 1, here's painting number 2, and then the person, oh, he may not like the painting. That's a different question altogether.
Mm-hmm.
But you have demonstrated that you do painting. Am I making sense?
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense.
And maybe I'll pull in Andrea to help me with the answer.
Yeah, Andrea. Andrea, can you hear us? Andrea, I don't think we can hear you. I cannot hear you, at least. I don't know if you have your mic turned off.
On my...
Okay, now it's fine. Now I cannot see you.
Do you hear me?
Okay. Now we can hear you.
Giulio, do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So I completely agree with Melvin about this question. And I would like to the fact that when you go for an interview in the asset management, you need a previous experience, and when you are just a student, it's very difficult to make experience in this field. So for this reason, I think that mediations like UCFA and I Ponti della Finanza are pivotal, but all finance are pivotal for this kind of goal, because if you arrive to the interview with a financial analysis competition on your CV, when you demonstrate that you have constructed, you have built a portfolio with some studies about sectors, about your system of underweight, overweight, and you have the reasons why you did it. You have some grip, the interviewer, and you can have his attention. You can't have just repeating your lesson the prof told you. So Giulio, se per te va bene, io lo ripeterei anche in italiano perché è importantissimo, secondo me, fare esperienze.
Melvin, sorry, he's just...
Melvin, I'm just repeating in Italian because I think it's very important for our...
No, please, Andrea, very good idea, go for it.
Thank you. Ragazzi, io penso che associazioni, UniCatt Financial Analysts, i Ponti della Finanza o Starting Finance, comunque chiunque vi dia la possibilità di mettervi a confronto con la realtà finanziaria di gestione del portafoglio in maniera pratica, quindi facendo esperienza già prima di entrare, di andare a fare il colloquio, l'intervista, sia un'occasione da cogliere al volo. Quindi veramente sfruttate queste occasioni quando siete ancora in università. Thank you, Melvin.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. I don't know if you maybe have anything to add. Otherwise, I'll switch to.
No, let's move on with more questions.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. There are still a couple of questions in terms of the your studying background and how much is it relevant. I would say that we have already in some way covered that. We have seen, for example, that the background from Melvin was coming from a very different starting point in a certain sense, from a more financial related part, but in no way maybe at the very end, at the very start, maybe there was some slight tweaks to do, but other than that, I wouldn't say that it's really something that much relevant. Just to sum up and trying to answer some of the questions here. On some of the additional studies outside from university, and this is a question for both panelists. Some people are asking how much the CFA as a charter and as the series of exams and everything else, how much is it actually relevant, given also how much time it requires to actually get it done? Is it really something that is worth doing maybe now as one is starting out their career, or maybe if it makes more sense to do it while you are working, and some considerations around the CFA? I don't know, whoever of you want to start, is fine.
Andrea, you want to go first? Should I go first?
Yes. Yes, if you want, I can go first.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. So I think that my personal experience is I've been a student in Cattolica University for 5 years with a bachelor degree in economics, and that I think it's pivotal to have a degree in economics and to know the monetary economics, international economics, because it gives you the macro, the overview of the economy. And so a bachelor degree in economics and a master of science in banking and finance with a curriculum in portfolio management. So this is my background, and I'm trying to achieve the designation of charter CFA charter holder. I think this designation is pivotal in this market, in this labor market. We are in finance, we are in a contraction phase, in my opinion. In Italy, we had 3 mergers between Amundi SGR and Pioneer SGR, Anima SGR and Aletti Gestielle SGR, and between other 2 SGR, this moment, yes, Mediobanca and Mediobanca took the CFO of UBI SGR. So in this moment, there are less jobs, less portfolio manager jobs, and a lot of people want to do this job. So in my opinion, if you have the CFA, it's a plus that in this moment is increasingly pivotal.
Okay, thank you.
I finished.
Okay.
Yes, so of course, qualifications are important. But there's one problem with qualifications, is that, let's say 50 years ago, our grandfather, if they completed school or finished graduation, it was like, oh, lovely, fantastic. Oh, you're a graduate, please come. Then masters. Now there are so many people doing masters. CFA, so many people doing CFA. There's grade inflation. There's graduate inflation, degree inflation. So I agree with every word that Andrea said, that the benchmark is becoming minimum, is just going up and up. And it's like you feel like drowning. There are so many qualifications. But the whole point is that I come back to what I said earlier, is when you're going in the interview, about whichever track you're following.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is, can you contribute?
Mm-hmm.
And Andrea is 100 on 100 when he said that the financial system is shrinking, which really means that the person who's selecting a candidate, there are more candidates right now in the market than there are jobs.
Yeah.
So by only having degrees and CFA is not going to help. By having only the knowledge is not going to help. You need to go with full guns, with the qualification and the knowledge, or at least the demonstrating interest that you really are interested in. So it's a combo attack.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just to know that I have any kind of knowledge or experience to share, but I do. My situation is a little bit in between, in the sense that I've just graduated and I'm starting now to do more fully focused on the professional side. The ability to show maybe that you've done, as Andrea and also Melvin was saying, the ability to prove and show in your CV, in your cover letter when speaking, that you do have some experience, regardless of what it is. Even if it's just yourself trying to, as Melvin was saying, trying to track what is happening for annual general meetings, and trying to come up with your very brief view on a specific stock, on something which is newsworthy on a very recent deal, is still something that you can do even without having access to Bloomberg, without having access to whatever. Those kind of elements make your life easier, but you're still able to show in some degree that you just don't have a theoretical interest in the subject, but a more practical interest, and you show that you've decided to put in time without getting paid, clearly, as Mary was saying. And it's something that, at least in my experience, has been very, very helpful, especially in a competitive market, right, like the one we are facing now. Thank you both for the answers. One question that I think it's quite interesting, and probably I would say that I have some idea on the answers for both guests. Which is the most important book that you would recommend to read about economics and finance and investments? And then on the other side, maybe something that has motivated you. So one more related to the investment side, and one that has motivated you. It can also be that those are two and the same, but it depends clearly on what's your answer to that. Whoever wants to start.
Melvin, if you want.
Yeah, sure. Well, most people say that they were inspired by Warren Buffett. Actually, in my case, it was Peter Lynch, who is an outstanding investor. Unfortunately, he died a few years ago. But there are books, there's a book called One Up the Wall Street. There's another book called Beating the Street, again. So I think these two books were one of my first one or two books, because I liked the first book, so I immediately read the other book.
Yeah.
And I actually came to know Warren Buffett 2-3 years after reading the book, actually. After reading Peter Lynch's book, sorry. One obvious source for all students I highly recommend is to go to a website called BerkshireHathaway.com. In that, you'll find a section called Chairman's Letters. And I suggest you go there and basically read the Berkshire Hathaway letters. The only request I would make to you is when you see, I'm talking about Warren Buffett's on the right hand side. Earlier it was down, but now they've got it up. I'm just on the website right now.
Yeah.
It's the fourth on the right hand side, called Warren Buffett's Letters to Berkshire Shareholders.
Yeah.
Now, when you click on it, you will see 2019. It's going back to 1977. I would request you read the older ones first, because I just found them more interesting. I think he's run out of good ideas now, and is saying the same thing again and again and again. So probably start with 1981 or 82 or 83 instead of reading that 2019, which is okay. I mean, it's not great, but the letters of the 80s and 90s, they are superb.
Yeah.
And I strongly recommend you read them. And, you know, again, it's basic curiosity. You know, I don't know how many people of you, you know, just basically economic news. Now, of course, most of the students are in Italy at the moment.
Yeah, the large majority, yeah.
So, and I will not say to, you know, start reading American news or UK news. Just knowing about Italian local businesses. Or if your future plan is to come to London, for example, then obviously start learning about the UK markets, because that's, I think, a very good idea. And again, you won't believe it, the amount of information, you know, any listed company, you go to a section called investor relations. There's so much information, presentation, recording, webinars, annual report. That is the problem today I have is not lack of information. The problem I have is more information than I require.
Mm-hmm.
And it never stops. It's continuously flowing. So I would say start with a simple company. And, you know, you are really reading about investments. As I said to you, books, Warren Buffett's letters on one hand. And secondly, then taking a live case of a business today. Because it's no use about reading what Warren Buffett did in 1985. I mean, that company may not be there today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so let's take a company which is there right now and say, what is it doing? And again, as I said, go to the recordings. There's lots of information. I'll shut up. Let Andrea talk now.
Thank you.
So, can I?
Yeah.
So, I think that I have two considerations. The first is that if you want to gain a good knowledge about macroeconomics, you have to read Oliver Blanchard, Macroeconomics by Oliver Blanchard. I think that if you want to understand financial investments, you need to start from macroeconomics. And then this is in order to know more about how things in macroeconomics can influence yields, and then how it can influence also some stock selection models.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first point. The second point is more on stock selection. I think it's important to have an idea where the world is going to where the world is going. Where in 10 years, which business will be the leaders?
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do that, you can read whatever you want, whatever you think that will give you a good knowledge about that business, about that sector.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
yeah. No, thank you. Okay, yeah, I think that there are great advice on both answers. Switching to something a little bit more current in a certain sense, I would say that if we were having this call maybe 2-3 years ago, probably there were going to be at least one question on Brexit. Now, given that we are on a completely different world, and clearly the topical topic in a certain sense is the current pandemic we are all affected by, there are a couple of questions based both on how, if the current situation has affected your work, so your typical workday for a certain, in a certain sense, and then also on the investment side, how have you been able to cope with the additional volatility that clearly from March going now, and then with the US election recently also, how have you coped with the more investment related side of the pandemic induced turmoil, so both on a personal side and on an investment side?
Yeah, what I would say, well, first of all, on Brexit, I came here 14 years, well, in March, I'll finish 14 years. And I can tell everybody on this call, ignore the politics. Please come to London. It's a lovely place. Yes, you'll be working hard. Yes, it won't be as relaxing as a small town in Italy. Of course, you'll miss your pastas and your mom's food, but it will do wonders to your career. It will be more hard work. I can guarantee you. I'm not saying it. I'm not suggesting.
Yeah.
I'm guaranteeing you it's going to be hard work. But I promise you, it'll be worth it. It won't be giving you results now. It'll be worth it in 5, 10, 15 years' time. So I would request you with folded hands, please come to London. London needs you, and you need London to rise your career up. In terms of affecting, well, I've always taken meetings with managements in person.
Mm-hmm.
I refused in the past to do conference calls. I do not do conference calls. Video call was not very common. The conference call numbers were there. So whenever I given the IR department, investor relations, or the broker says, "Oh, Melwin, management is available on a conference call," you should know, I tell them, Melwin does not do calls. Why? I told you last time, I do not do calls. I only meet in person.
Yeah.
Only meet in person. And what have I done since March? I've only done calls.
Yeah.
But even now, I'm not doing any calls, only video calls. And in the initial period in March, some of the brokers said, "Oh, we don't have a video facility." I said, I took a subscription. I said, I send you a Zoom link, but I'll pay for it. But I want to, for pretty obvious reasons. I'm asking a question. I don't know whether the CFO is answering, the founder is answering the question, or the CEO is answering. So if I see the face, it's obviously much better than just hearing the voice. So in terms of how it has affected, for me, the number one difference has been since March till now, I've done only meetings on Zoom and Teams. Today I heard another platform called Tutor. You learn every day one thing. So this is my first call on Tutor. But you live and you learn, as they say. But it's amazing as to how, because of internet, we are still being connected. You guys are there, I'm here, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Andrea?
Yes, for me, in the Brexit didn't have any impact on my career, personally speaking, and also this situation of COVID since February. I have not any problem in my career about these situations. In terms of investments, I think that Brexit is more a topic for financial analysts. And I think that because I don't see any significant difference since Brexit took place to now in the financial system.
Mm-hmm.
And for COVID, I see another situation. For COVID, I see that markets which reacted probably in a rational way in the first part of the year, markets are now reacting in a way that I can't understand. They are very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Too much optimistic. Too much. I see a lot of euphoria. Today there was a news about a potential vaccine. Markets in Europe, market made the 6% in a day. I think this is too much. If we see what is happening in the world macroeconomy, we have to ask ourselves if the price we see in the market is correct or not. In my opinion, it is not correct.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and just trying to maybe to sum up there. Given also, I mean, you are still. You are clearly influenced in your investment position based on the current scenario, but it really depends on which is the time frame that you consider for your investment thesis, for example. So for the type of funds that maybe Melwin runs, which is a little bit more on the longer side. Clearly, even if you are still getting hit in a certain sense from the current volatility, but it really depends on which is your time or horizon, and also it takes, I would say, maybe Melwin, you can confirm, but it takes a lot of conviction on why you have taken certain positions. So maybe try to clearly care about what's happening, but don't really make it too much influence your investment thesis and investment ideas. I don't know if you maybe Melwin want to just add a couple of.
Well, again, you see, the markets are volatile. Today, all the 3-4 big platforms, they collapsed because there was so much trading happening. FTSE up 5%. This is 5% index moving. This is serious business, okay? This is serious. This is not a stock moving 5%. This is an index moving 5%. When the interest rate is 0. This is serious. You know, you make 0.1 in 365 days, and in the index you make 5% in 1 day. This is not funny. This is really not funny. But you see, there is on many of the stocks there is no logic, and people are ignoring the devastating effects of COVID. And the fact that life is going to be, on January 1st, life is going to be fine. Well, I don't think it's going to be fine. And by the way, today, I suspect most of you will know, but the reason why the markets went up is because there was an announcement that they have now discovered a vaccine against COVID. Even if it was true, according to me it's not, but let's say it's true, there is no capacity in the system to build to manufacture hundreds of millions of vaccines. Number one. Number two, forget making vaccines. We're talking about vaccines can't be, you can't take a long breath and the vaccine is gone in. You got to be going to the doctor, the nurses, the hospitals and the clinics. There's no capacity
Still takes time
to monitor 65 million vaccines in Italy or UK or whatever. So the market is treating, I don't know how many people here drink, but this is like having 5 drinks. You talk nonsense. And you enjoy it because your friend is talking nonsense, you talk nonsense, and we have fun. But this is about people's savings. And the market is really on drugs right now. It's become a mad place, really. There is no logic. Stocks are going up and down by 10-20% on a daily basis. See, a few years ago, a small company went up by 10 and 20%. Rolls-Royce today was up by 70%. A company like Rolls-Royce. I mean, this is madness. This is complete madness. You don't see this. It's a £5 billion company. Maybe 6.5 billion euros, let's call it. 43% it closed. IAG, the British Airways, IAG, up 25%. I mean, this is madness. On one stupid COVID news vaccine announcement, it's like childish. The announcement and the implementation, there's a huge gap. But you see, this is, as the old phrase goes, the market in the short term is a voting machine. So right now, everyone's feeling like an intoxicated drunkard. And they're just not using this thing. Everything is fine. All problems are solved. We are in amidst a crisis which is more serious than the financial crisis. In the financial crisis, 2 people got affected. Well, mainly one category. Financial services, banks. In this economy, in this problem, the whole cycle has been affected. And just to give you a very simple example, in London, all offices are closed. So in the afternoon, the whole lunch trade, restaurants, completely screwed up. Evening pubs, completely screwed up. Hotels, people used to come for businesses and live, obviously, stay overnight in London, gone. People who were supplying to hotels, food, grocery, drinks, bed sheets, there's a whole ripple effect that has happened. And the market is saying, what are you talking? We have solved the problem. We'll find out soon.
Don't know if you, Andrea, want to add something. If not, I switch to
I completely agree with Melvin. And just to say that I have the impression market think don't fight the Fed. If the monetary policy in America is expansionary, you can go long on stocks. I think this is the sentiment of the market. And another thing, the market. I hear a lot of colleagues talking about financial conditions in this moment, and they think that there is not an alternative to invest in the stocks. You have to invest in stocks because yields in the bond market are going lower and lower. So if you want to have a yield, you have to a positive return, you have to go in stocks. So this is another problem. Another problem. So I think that we have not seen the top of the market in this moment. We will see other records.
Okay. Yeah.
And just one small point I'll just add
sure.
to. Let's take the last party. The last party took place in the dot-com bubble, the real party. The 2006-07 party was a joke. The 2000 dot-com party was the party. Every day stocks are going up 10, 20%. Party time.
Yeah.
Stocks like Microsoft also went up. And of course, then everything came down. For 17 years, between 2000 and 2017, Microsoft did not make money for investors. So this is what happens, going back to my earlier point about valuation. When you buy stocks, if they are good, super business, Microsoft, yes. Good management, yes. High valuation, well, it was high valuation. So when it came like this, and when it finally did come up, but for 17 years, it did not make money. I will not even discuss or mention the hundreds of stocks that just collapsed and went away. Because I will win the argument very easily. So let me take a tough case. Let's talk about Microsoft, the best company, right? In the whole crash. At the end of the day, we are not investing. At least I'm working for 12 hours plus daily, not to make zero money for 17 years. That's not what I wake up in the morning for.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I think we have time for just one last question, and it's a little bit more on a more personal side. There's a couple of people asking on, as you, Melvin, mentioned, and also as Andrea briefly said, how much the importance of really being passionate about what you do, and in this case, being really passionate about finance and portfolio management. The question is, what is it that you do love about portfolio management? Why do you consider that a passion of yours? I know that it's something personal, but we have around 5 minutes each to answer, and then unfortunately we have to wrap up things. Whoever wants to start.
Yeah, Andrea, go for it.
I think that I have a passion for finance, and I think that I discovered this passion when I studied at the second year of my bachelor degree. When I made financial mathematics, and in that situation, I discovered that that finance was something that made me I don't know, sure.
Made you click in a certain sense.
Yeah, I am. I feel comfort with financials and numbers and studying the perspective of macroeconomics. I feel good. So I think that passion is pivotal to do everything, not just finance, everything, because when you have a passion, you put something more than your effort. You start to make the right question to you, and you have when you don't find the right answer, you continue. You don't give up. This is passion. When you have the motivation, you don't give up if you have the wrong answer. So this is for me the passion for finance.
No, very well said. Very well said, Andrea. Very well said. Well, as I said earlier, like a good boy, I did engineering because, if you're a good student, you either do medicine or engineering. So, okay, engineering. And I realized, doing engineering, actually, very accidentally, I started reading about the stock markets and investing. And really liked this whole everyday going up and coming down, and it just, I said, wow, what's this kind of thing? And I was very fortunate to discover very quickly that I did not like engineering. And probably that decision was made easy because I discovered what I enjoyed. So if to answer your question, what kind of gets you excited? Well, first and foremost, for me, it's the variety. On Monday, I'm doing an engineering company. In the morning, afternoon, I'm meeting a pharmaceutical company. Tuesday, it is technology. Afternoon, it's a COVID vaccination company. And it's that variety that gets me interested. And when you were in London, we went for a few meetings.
Yep, a couple.
Who do we meet as investment managers? Who do we meet? We meet founders, CEOs,
CFOs,
successful people. They are inspiring because we don't meet. But we don't meet watchmen and cleaners. We meet successful people, and every person we meet, we say, "Wow, wow, wow." And you kind of sometimes think, he's not extraordinary. How can he's worth 100 million? And I would say to everybody on this call, if an idiot like me can become investment manager, so can you all. Yeah. But of course, you need to put in the effort. And I think the most important point is, this is so important that it really deserves repetition. Will you do this if you're not paid? Would you do this if you don't have a boss and you're your own boss? This is my third bedroom, which has now, of course, become my office. I don't have a boss. I can relax all day, go for a long walk for 5 hours. No problem. No problem. How much work I put in, I decide. But let me promise you one thing. From the very beginning, you don't require your boss to supervise you, somebody to motivate you, if you do it from here. If you love it, you love it. And the question, was your question is how much? What did you say? How much?
How, like on the passion side?
Passion.
Yeah.
See, if it is like sometimes when I'm asked this question, that should I pursue investment management? Well, that means you're not passionate. Because if you are passionate, you not ask me. Roger Federer, when he was 5 years old, did not ask his coach, should I play tennis?
Yeah.
So what I want to request you as we're coming to a close here, please don't join investment management because you want to make money. There are many ways to make money. Many ways. Please do not, just because all of you are qualified in finance, not necessary you got to spend your life in finance. As I said, I'm an electrical engineer. But I can tell you, if you like variety, if you like to win, if you like competition, and your success is going to be compensated, then finance is a lovely field. Because by nature, you meet the best of the best. And I would encourage all of you to pursue it. Of course, pursue it. I would really encourage you to come to London and explore opportunities in London. You can share them my email address. I'm very happy to take questions and be of help. But at the end of the day, the interest has to come from here, not from a professor, not from a friend. Because if it does not come from here, then you'll be bored and tired of it. I think that's a nice point to shut up.
Yeah, no, sure. If I can maybe just add a very slight point. As you were both saying, it needs to be something that you feel like you're interested in. One thing that I think that it's very much valuable, not much in terms of asking if you are the right person for asset management, investment management, but I would say that speaking with people who actually do that kind of job, and just trying to get a sense of what they do, why do they like that, how be curious in trying to ask people for a little bit of their time. I know from personal experience how tough it may be at the very few times, but you will be surprised with how much people are actually willing to help you. I've been fortunate enough to have a very, very long conversation with both Andrea and Melvin on what they do, how has been their experience, and I was able to actually get to know them based on my first question, like the first doing this small leap of faith in a certain sense, and you'll be amazed by how much and how many people really want to try and help you figure it out. So in that sense, this is also a very huge thank you to both Andrea and Melvin for being here. I would also like to thank all the people from Tutor who helped us with putting up this event. Clearly, everybody from UCFA, I'm really thankful for the opportunity that you've given me, and especially for Marco Amoroso, the head for CFA, who has shared a little bit of the background to put this together. And on a note, I would really like to thank everybody who has joined us. At a certain time, we had more than 160 people. It's amazing the fact that you decided to spend some time with us. And on that note, I don't know if
Gilo, one small point.
Yeah.
I think the 50, 60 people who went away clearly were not passionate.
Exactly. Exactly.
And what we have are the hardcore guys who are really interested. And the dinner is getting cold. They don't care. The friend wants to go for a movie. They don't care. Somebody shouting, come here. They're getting calls. Don't care.
Exactly.
So this is if you are hardcore, success will be yours. And I wish everybody on this, all the success in your career. I wish all of you and your families and your friends a lovely, lovely, healthy, and hope this coronavirus is off in our lives. And we can meet in person, and we can have a lovely, delicious Italian beer in London.
Hopefully. Thank you, Melvin. Thank you, Andrea, and thank you for everybody for joining this. Thank you. See you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Good night, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.